As promised, this is part 2 of the haphazard rust repairs here for the 1983 Mercedes 300 TD. I'll put a link to part 1 above, and just so you guys can see the beginnings, and then this is going to be the final video and wrap it up, so stay tuned. Here's the passenger side rear floor. The next day, all of the paint has dried there. And then same thing on the driver's door, rear. Got you going into the passenger side floor. Got that torn up, and of course there's some more rust. As expected, that's a drain hole, got rust. There's a hole right there. Now these are crude, I'm not even gonna barely call them repairs. There's some rust, surface rust there. But I just scraped away, wire brushed, and gonna throw a little bit of that rust converter on it, just like I did in the rear pans. Driver's side, similar situation. By the accelerator pedal at the bottom, there's a hole. I mean, these things, the pan's gotta really get in here at some point later. There's a hole there. Anyway, let me go get the paint and get done. I gotta do the rear fender. So right now, I gotta assess the rear fenders. This side over here is is way worse, I'll say, than the other side. So I took off all the trim. There's already a big repair patch done right there. That entire area around the jack point and all that, that's starting to rust, and there's a hole right there. Got the rear driver's side tire off and just exposing some of the rust. We got a little bit down here. I'm gonna poke at that, expose that. Got a hole here, which is what you could get from the other side, and a little bit of hole here. There's a grommet I'm gonna pull. Finally got this cleaned up. This was not easy. Just a warning, not easy at all. So I got this wire wheeled. I use a combination of wire wheels on a drill. Some of these, I mean, I use a lot of things. The hardest part was getting, I can't show you with the camera, was getting on the back side of this, because I have to get all that undercoating off, as you see, to bare metal. So I cut away right here, and that is 3 pieces of metal all pinch welded together, and then I cleared the same, it looks just like this on the back side. So I just used a little mirror, but I'm going to kind of just patch the holes, and then patch this with fiberglass reinforced body filler. I ended up using this, it's like a adhesive backed stainless mesh. So the light is shining through the window right now, and so you're only going to be able to see one thing, but I took that mesh and folded it like a hard shell taco, and went on the back side and the front side obviously, and wrapped around that, and then held it, and then smeared the fiberglass reinforced Bondo body filler. And now, wait, I gotta get the file, and so you can see where I got that one over there, and then you can see the mesh. Like that right there is what the mesh looks like before you put the Bondo on. This isn't a how-to body work. You watched a different video. Got a little bodywork update. Got, I don't know, 3 coats of fiberglass reinforced body filler. I sanded it with like 40 grit, I think. If you remember, there was a hole here, there was a hole here, here, and then the big taco hole. So you can see that's all filled in. There was also a hole here. And this isn't a show car quality here. And then there were some breaches, little holes. I used that glazing putty. I probably filled in too big of holes for what that's designed for, but it's a 1-part situation. Scuffed the whole thing probably with 320, and she's ready for paint then. Yep, that's done. That only took half the day, if not longer. You know, it was too much rust. I couldn't just spray paint holes. I mean, I could have. It's just, this was a whole cavity, you know, that you can see in there. That's a whole cavity in there. And I mean, this is supposed to be a hole because there's a rubber grommet that goes on there, but all right, that's what I got for a final look before I tape it off and spray it. Gives you a little bit of an idea. We're in the back of the wagon, and this is going to be a first for everybody here because I have not been in here yet. So I guess there's some latches here. Let's see. Okay, got a little bit of steel wool for whatever reason. Oh, look at that. This looks like the washer. Oh wow, that's the rear washer bottle. Oh yeah, it does. So it has a squirter. Sherman, what are you doing? What are you doing? I can already see some rust down there. Gonna have to dive into that. Okay, so that's that. Look at that. Look how nice that works. That is like, it's just so nice. So here is the rubber strap that goes on this here. That is obviously, it's dirty, so this thing was used on the car at one point. Oh, look at that! It's actually whatever they call these bunt wheels. Cool. So it's a real one. Look at this. Got some fuel hose just laying in there. This is solid right here. Oh look, a lug wrench. And a budgie rubber strap. A bunch of them. Oh, here's a drain. So we're gonna have to clear that up. Let's see what we got here. What's that? That's not a seat, is it? How does this work? Press. Oh my gosh! There's a third seat! No way! I did not think there was a third seat! No way! Oh my gosh, I did not think there was a third seat in here! This is such a big deal! I thought that this was, I don't know, I never even looked in here yet. I thought the third seat was permanent, not some folding situation. I didn't even think about the seatbelts are there. I wasn't even thinking, you know? What you do is you flip these up, and you roll this. Those will just snap. Then take this and you flip this up. It slams into place. Then you lift this up, and then there's a little handle. Put that in there, and that's it. That's how you do it. And I'm too big. Too big for this ride. The whole point of me even doing this was to see how much rust was in the floor pans here. And so let's see what it looks like underneath this. Okay, so there's the pan. Okay, so this is that same, there's a little bit of rust here. I just got to see how to get all of these panels out. Yeah, there's water that was in here. Obviously, there's rust in here. This wouldn't have been rusted if it didn't leak, you know. I just got the seats out, the floor, the seat, and the seat back out. That is where the seat belts had one bolt holding it in. This pan comes out. Okay, we're gonna take this apart at the same time here. You guys are gonna see what I'm gonna see. I've never had this out. You gotta weasel those bars out of the carpet and take it out. All right, there you go. All right, there's some rust right around the seat. This looks like a fuel line right here. Some rust here. So there's definitely rust in this in the, you know, in the floor here, because these are all rusted out, right? So you know there's rust here. It's so hard to tell. There you go. So, well, that portion is good and metal. This is the crap that's in here. I don't know what this is. This is some sound deadening. Staying in. Staying in. What are you guys doing, huh? You guys want to do a little eating? Look at this. Jingle bells. Come on. You want to eat? So it's the weekend. We got a new day going. I was working on the estate seats, they call them, which is the third row seats in the Mercedes wagon. There you go. Wow, look at the rust underneath there. Wow. This is the passenger side rear carpet area near the jack. There was a screw, a longer screw that was buried in there. I had to dig that out with a pick. There's obviously these screws here, and then this one was really rusted. Let's see if we can get this out. I don't know if this is gonna, oh, look at that, it's broken right there. So someone tried to do this before. The board underneath there. Look at that. So someone probably just said, the hell with taking all this out, and just broke this board just like that, huh? Well, you know what? I'm gonna do the same thing. It's already broken. So here you go. Here is the washer tank removed. I just removed it out of there. This is the washer tank bracket. It still has all the zinc coating on it, or whatever that coating is. And you can see the rust in there. It doesn't appear that it's rusted through. There is a drain hole right there, and there is it is open. I did poke from the bottom. Let's get this bracket out. I cleaned. I didn't go crazy, but there was rust all over, different little spots. There's actually a little hole there. But other than that, that's the only hole in this portion of the floor. And I cleaned it with alcohol. I wire brushed it with a wire wheel on a drill and cleaned it with alcohol here. Tried to get the rough rust off of there, and I'm just gonna spray it with a little bit of that rust converter. So here's just an example of some of the trim that was inside of the rear hatch area. You flip it over where it was against the carpet, and we got some decent amount of rust in here. So I'm just gonna wire wheel this with the drill, scuff it up a little bit with some Scotch-Brite, and throw some primer and some paint on it.